You've been hearing us talking about law of attraction, and we want to say to you that law of attraction is the most powerful law in the universe. It's the law that understands vibrational frequencies and brings frequencies that are the same together. So what you're thinking is causing you to offer a vibration, and that vibration is an emanation of vibration, and law of attraction is finding things that match it and showing them to you. And at first, they're small. The longer you think about them, the bigger they get. But the more you give your attention to anything, the stronger your point of attraction becomes about it. So if there are things or people or experiences that you would really like to experience, think about them more. And often you say, well, I don't know how I could think more about this obsession I have. I just don't know how I could think any more about it. And we say, but we want you, and by the end of this day, we want you to really feel it clearly. We want you to be able to differentiate between whether you are obsessed with what you want or whether you are obsessed with the absence of it. Because it's a rather fine line. You think you're thinking about what you want because you're thinking about what you want and you're using the word about what you want. Lover, money, lover, money, lover, money, lover, money. Is all we're getting from this crowd. But often what's going on is, rather than thinking about the experience that you really want, you are aware of where you stand in relationship to it. So the absence of it is what is dominant in your experience. And because it's been dominant for a while, and you've been observing the absence of what you want for a while, now you have a belief about the absence that is stronger than your desire about the presence. And when your desire is what it is, but your belief is stronger, your desire doesn't move toward you, or you don't move toward it, or better said, you don't rendezvous with your desire. You have to be at least not offering the contradictory vibration. Now, did you hear those clarifying words? You have to at least not be offering. Of course, it would be far better if you're thinking about what you want. Purely what you want. But if you can't think purely about what you want, then don't think about it at all. That's at least not doing something that contradicts it. You see what we're getting at? Lobotomy would help. It would. But so much goes with that. Meditation helps because when you quiet your mind, you stop thought, and when you stop thought, you stop resistance. But you can't meditate all day. Your employer wants some of your attention. When you're driving, don't meditate. So, focus is the only answer. You have to figure out how to focus yourself into alignment with your desires. And we think that sometimes you think that there's really no point in focusing on your desire because you don't believe it's going to happen anyway. And we say that's sort of where we started, isn't it? We want to say to you that everything that you want, no matter what it is possible for you to achieve. There are no exceptions to that. But you cannot focus upon something that's missing and experience what you want. You have to focus upon what you want. When you talk about what you want and why you want it, you often get into that more general place that allows you to focus purely with no resistance. But when you get more specific, like, well, how will it come? Or when will it come? Or where will it come from? Or who will bring it? Or who will it be? When you ask those more specific questions to which you don't have answers, then you introduce, through the specifics, contradiction to your vibration, and it slows everything down. When you talk about what you want and why you want it, you often can stay in a more general place. And so that's really the key to getting more of what you want. We know that you come because you are wanting to be part of this leading edge discussion. We know that you come because you are looking for clarification on some specific things. We know that you come because you're wanting to contribute with your knowledge and your beingness to the whole of this forum. We know that you come for the vibrational vitality that often comes by focusing from the core of that which you are. You just can't focus here very long without coming into vibrational alignment with who you really are. And so your feelings of well-being and your feelings of worthiness and your feelings of elation and passion begin to return to you as you focus here with us just for a little while on the well-being of your life experience. But we want to show you how you can focus in your life experience in specifics and still be in alignment. And that is the thing that is most difficult for most of our human friends, because we love you very much. You always know something's coming right after that. We love you very much, but for the most part, the more specific you get, the more resistance you introduce into the equation. And that just trips you up and freaks you out because you want to be specific. You do. You are genius creators. You are elaborate creators. You are leading edge creators. You did not come forth into this time-space reality to hide your head in the sand or to meditate all day in order to stop resistance. You came figuring that you could manage your focus enough, that you could deliberately create, and specifically deliberately create, because it's not fun to be less specific when you are a leading edge creator like you are. In other words, when we say to you, if you'll get real general, you'll feel a lot better, and you practice it and you feel better, you say, yeah, I feel better, but I'm really bored. And we say, we know you are. You gotta be bored. When you have as much data surrounding you as you do, you want to be specifically focused. In fact, you want so much to be specifically focused that you'll choose negative over positive because you want to be specifically focused. We're just here to remind you, you don't have to give up positive for specific. But you can't start there often. You can't just jump from really, really, really knowing what you don't want to really, really, really knowing what you do want. There's too much vibrational momentum or inertia already going. So you got to slow it down, get general, practice the general thought of well-being. Are you following this? Well, then we're done. Because if you've got that, then all you have to do is go practice it. And so that was a very short seminar. We hope you got your money's worth. It will carry you to the end of this life experience and on and on and on and on. There's nothing that we could tell you that would be more important to you than what you just heard. So we're eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. It is our absolute knowing that as this day unfolds, that it will once again be co-creating at its best. A powerful thing that we want you to remember is that deliberate creation is about deliberate focus. And deliberate focus is about deliberate point of attraction. And deliberate point of attraction is about deliberate rendezvous with all peoples, places, things, events, thoughts, circumstances, all things that you want. You'll rendezvous with them. If you can put creation, deliberate creation, into the picture of law of attraction, orchestrating the details that facilitates, because you're causing it with your vibration, that facilitates the coming together of the constantly moving vibrational parts. So you will therefore care more about how you feel, because how you feel is your indication of how well you're rendezvousing with the parts that you want to rendezvous with. The better you feel, the more in alignment for those rendezvous you are. So as we talk about you moving around, do you like that feeling? Moving around, you're at work, you're at home, you're on the road, you're in your car, you're in restaurants, you're in stores, you are in nature, you're in bed, you're moving around your world. And as you're moving around your world, you have a point of attraction that is radiating, emanating, and key to the rendezvous that are happening to you all day, every day. And your point of attraction is about your focus. So just for a little while, we want you to focus on the emotional stance. Because if you focus upon how you feel, what you want and why you want it, which is what I want and how I will feel when I get it, you will deliberately begin generating, emitting a vibrational signal, which we are calling your vibrational grid. It's your point of attraction. Now, your point of attraction has a lot of things going on in it. Usually, you got a grid about money, you got a grid about lovers, you got a grid about your mother, 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 you've got a grid about your government. In other words, you have, in this grid, you have all kinds of things going on. And most of your grid, we love you very much, is because of what you believe. And what you believe is because of what you've observed. But we want to remind you that you can believe other than what you've observed, and then what you will observe will contour to what you believe. That's the thing most people don't get. Most people think that they believe it because they see it, and we're wanting you to understand that because you're seeing it, you've come to believe it, but it doesn't have to be that way. Because there are plenty of things that you believe that others don't believe, and there are plenty of things that others don't believe that you do believe, and your beliefs are only about what's active in your vibration and therefore what is coming to you. We want you to start basing your beliefs just for a little while. Try it for a week. It will change everything. We want you to base your beliefs on your emotional grid. We want you to come to believe that you can feel the way you choose to feel regardless of what's surrounding you. Because when you show yourself that, then you have control of everything that matters to you. Then you've got control of your point of attraction. You don't have control of others' points of attraction, but they weren't any of your business anyway. You have control over your point of attraction. And when you have control over your point of attraction, then you can live happily ever after. Not just someday, now. How are you happy? How are you happy? How are you happy? Do you know that if you can find 17 seconds of a thought about something general, like an emotion, that's enough to get that grid active enough that it will bring something else to it right now. And that something else that it will bring to it right now is usually another thought that keeps it going longer. And if you can keep it going for another 17 seconds, that's enough to bring something to it. And it's usually another thought that will keep it going longer. And if you can keep that going for 17, until you have 68 seconds of non-diluted, general, pure, emotional thought, you've accomplished a grid that will bring you visible evidence. Someone will walk into your space with evidence. Something will come as evidence that you have accomplished a point of attraction that is strong enough that the rendezvousing process has already begun. All kinds of things will begin happening to you. And because you have deliberately worked on your grid, now as these things come, you will not just see them as random, freakish coincidences. A coincidence is a rendezvousing of vibrational latitude. That's what a coincidence is. It's a cooperative, communicative incident. Coincidence is the best word we know that is talking about rendezvousing, which is caused by law of attraction. But you thought it was random. And for most, it is random because you're not thinking deliberately. You're creating by default. But when you start deliberately, 17 seconds, not much to ask of yourself, is it? 17 seconds, it feels pretty good. And then another, and then another, and then another. What do you want to talk about? Stuff. We're going to have standing doesn't help. Standing on your chair doesn't help. Waving your arms doesn't help. Being clear about what you want helps. Feeling eager helps. Feeling desperate doesn't help at all. Your eagerness is muted by your desperation. Really it is. So what you're looking for is just a soft, wouldn't it be nice if I could have a conversation with Abraham about and enlighten myself and help the entire universe at the same time. Begin right here.